What's up, guys? I'm back with another game slash platinum trophy slash 100% trophy review. Today it is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I have played this game for 138 hours. I'll put that up on the screen. And this is coming off the back of just playing Origins and Odyssey in the last 3 or 4 years. So I feel like I am can talk a little bit about the game and sort of credibly know how it compares to some of the other games. And hopefully this video helps you decide to play the game or decide not to play the game, whichever one. But yeah, so let's get right into it. So, like I said, I played the game for 138 hours. 89 of those hours were on the base game Platinum, and then 10 on Wrath of the Druids, which was Ireland, 10 on Siege of Paris, which was France, 13 of Dawn of Ragnarok, which was like the Immortal Realm, like the Pantheon of Gods, 9 on Forgotten Saga, which was again like sort of Immortal Realm of the Gods. Tombs of the Fallen, another 5 on that. I think this was a free DLC, but I'm not super positive. I just got like a complete game pack or season pass or whatever years after the game came out. And then mastery challenges, which I think was another free one as well. But in terms of the game itself, this game is beautiful, I would say. It looks really good. It was I think, one of the earlier PS5 games. This is the first Assassin's Creed that I've played on PS5. Well, I've played others on PS5, but Origins and Odyssey were both PS4 games with, I think, unlocked frame rates on PS5. I'm not super positive about that. But this was a native PS5 game. That being said, it was one of the earlier native PS5 games, and the lighting at times, especially in the dark, is maybe not as good as you might see on PS5 games that come out today. So there's that. And you could probably see that in some of these clips. I think the game looks really good in the light, but then in the dark, you can kind of it just gets a little dark. If I was in a dark area of the game, I had to make sure that the blinds were closed in the room I was playing in and the lights were off just to make sure that I could see everything really well. So the game is beautiful, and I'll show you a bunch of video clips here and probably throw some pictures on there as well that I took some screenshots throughout my playing of the game. But the game itself, I would say, I have a little less interest in the Norse pantheon of gods than I do in like the in Greek mythology and Egyptian mythology. So that was kind of disappointing a little bit, but it does feel like an Assassin's Creed game. It feels like Origins did, it feels like Odyssey did, although maybe a little less stealth focus. And I would also say it just felt a little more on the bloated side. I mean, even just the base game, and I'm not talking about the platinum, I'm talking about the story. By the end of the story, which maybe took me 70 hours or so, by the end of the story, I was just skipping through cutscenes. I was so tired of it. I was done with it, and that sort of continued throughout the DLCs. I just did not have the interest in sitting through all the cutscenes, and I was just I was sick of it, you know. And the platinum itself, I mean, even after you finish the trophy, or even after you finish the story, rather, you then have to go back and do all the collectibles, and the collectibles in this game, I think, are oppressively annoying to do at times. There's this one mini game where you have to stack rocks to a certain height. That one was infuriating at times. There's another one where you have to basically spot these designs from afar in sort of Stonehenge like arrangements. And there's a bunch of that sort of thing, and all of those that I just relied on a guide to do. I think I probably could have figured them out myself, but I was just kind of not interested in doing that. And that's honestly the nature of an Assassin's Creed game at this point. You know, I think I've kind of heard. I haven't played Mirage, but I've kind of heard that the newest game that's out, Mirage, is a little better from that standpoint. Um, it's shorter, I think, but they also said it was supposed to be a Valhalla expansion at one point. So this game could have been even bigger than it was, and it was already huge. It took 138 hours for me to get through it, and I didn't even finish all the trophies. So I think the summary of the game is just it's good. It feels like an Assassin's Creed game. It's fun. It's the best this series has ever looked, in my opinion. But there's just too much of it. There's just too much to do. I think the base game should have been shorter. And I was fed up. I mean, I went straight into Wrath of the Druids and Siege of Paris, but it just I finished both of those immediately after, and I was just so sick of it. I took a couple months off before I went back and did Dawn of Ragnarok and the rest of the DLC. So the game is good. There's just so much of it, and I think it would have been easier to sort of break up if I had played the game at release and then gotten the DLC as it came out. But as I mentioned, I just got the game on sale years after the fact. I think it came out in 2020. I'm playing it. I played it in 2024, so it was years later, and I just got the game on sale, and then the season pass or all the DLC or whatever they call it on sale as well. So I sort of didn't have that natural buffer between expansions where it sort of helped me play other games and not be sick of this game, unfortunately. But that being said, I mean, some of the DLC, specifically the three big expansions, Wrath of the Druids, which was Ireland, Siege of Paris, which was France, and Dawn of Ragnarok, those were sort of stylistically and thematically similar to the base game. Forgotten Saga was not the same as the base game. It was like I think they call it a roguelite, where it's basically you do runs of the same section of game and it's different based on what weapons you choose and what perks you get and health buffs that you get. So that was sort of like a different sort of experience, and I commend them for doing that. I think that was a nice addition. I don't know that I would have been able to take yet another just area that you had to play through a story and then go get all the collectibles. And then Tombs of the Fallen was just sort of a continuation of a lot of what you got in the base game, these sort of tombs. And the mastery challenges were these little mini games almost. Like think of Arkham Knight, if you've ever played the Batman Arkham games, where you have these challenges where you have like 10 enemies and you have to eliminate them in certain ways to complete these challenges. I didn't finish those trophies. We'll talk about that more in the trophy section of this video, of this review. I have reasons that I didn't finish it, but I didn't finish it. But I do commend them for kind of trying something that's a little bit different from maybe the standard Assassin's Creed formula, let's say. So, my summary of the game overall, it feels like an Assassin's Creed game. It looks beautiful, and I got some really cool screenshots, some screenshots that I think are really cool. Um, and I did get the platinum. I did not get 100% of the trophies, but the game is fun. It feels like an Assassin's Creed game. There's just so much of it, and I ended up skipping so many cutscenes throughout the end of the base story and then throughout the DLC just because it's an absolute slog to get through all of this. And I wish that the game had been shorter, which is a shame because I do think for all the flack that Ubisoft Assassin's Creed games get, I do think that these are really well made games. I think that they have morphed from what they originally were into this sort of historical RPG, historical fiction RPG. But honestly, I'm fine with that. I enjoy historical fiction RPG games, and I've really enjoyed Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla. I just wish this game had been shorter. And in retrospect, honestly, I kind of wish that I'd stopped at the base game and not played any of the DLC, which again feels like a shame because I know that the developers put a lot into creating this DLC. I was just sick of it by this point in the game. So those are my thoughts on the game. Let me know what you think in the comments about the game. Let's get on to the trophy review. As I mentioned, 138 hours here is what I put into this game. And that basically is the time that it takes to get 100% of the trophies, though it would have taken me more if I'd finished the mastery challenges. The base game itself took me 89 hours to get the platinum. A lot of that's the story, as I mentioned, but then also in standard Assassin's Creed fashion, you have to go through and you have to do all the collectibles. You have to collect everything. You have to like clear out all these locations and open all the treasure chests and that sort of thing. So it's a grind. It's a big map. It's a lot faster, I think, if you are doing it throughout your play of the game. I knew that I was going for the platinum and the 100% trophies. So I was sort of, throughout my play of the game, I was working on the trophies basically so that I didn't finish the story and then have to go back and basically replay the whole game again to clean up everything that I missed the first time because I was kind of trying to get things as I went through. But that being said, it's just a slog. I mean, all these mini games and clearing all the locations, it's a grind and it takes a long time. And that's just the platinum. That's just the base game. the other areas of the game are the same. Wrath of the Druids, well, all the DLC except for mastery challenges. I mean, you basically have to do everything that the game has to offer in those areas. And those areas are new and interesting in some ways, but also just variations of the same areas that you've already been to in other ways. So it can be a bit of a grind. And as I said, you're completely clearing each area. Like Wrath of the Druids, for example, is Ireland. You have to clear out Ireland. You have to complete all the locations and do everything that Ireland has to offer to get all the trophies for that DLC set. And they're all that way. Everything is that way. So you're going to be playing this game to the fullest if you decide to get 100% in trophies. And with the exception of mastery challenges, these trophies are not difficult. They're just time consuming. It will take you a long time. If you exclude mastery challenges, it would have taken me 136 hours. So that's a lot of content, and you're going to be doing it all. So I think it's not for the faint of heart or not for the people who don't want to play 130 plus hours of an Assassin's Creed game. And that's my overall thoughts on it. Specifically on the mastery challenges, as I mentioned in the game review, I commend them for trying this format. I just think that some of the challenges that you're given are somewhat ridiculous. And I think in a lot of ways, I felt the same about the Arkham Knight challenges. But it's very specific challenges. Like here's 10 enemies, and you have to eliminate two by kicking them over an edge into the fire. I mean, it's just very specific things, and you sort of have to finagle around to try to get the enemies in the right place, and then hope that they attack you from the right direction, and then hope that you can push them towards the fire or whatever. It would have taken me. I think I could have done it, and people have done it. If you look on PlayStation within trophies, or if you look on PSN profiles, which is my trophy tracker of choice, you can see that there are people who have completed these trophies. I wasn't someone who completed those trophies because I was sick of the game and I didn't have the patience to go through all these mastery challenges. And there are quite a few more, by the way, that I didn't do. It's not just like you have to do two challenges. I mean, I think you have to end up playing through like 12 mini games and eliminate enemies in the right way, sometimes within a certain amount of time. So I just didn't have the patience for it. People can certainly do it, but when I was watching some YouTube videos and guides and stuff, there were a lot of other people like me who basically said, "Yeah, I wanted to get 100% trophies, but I couldn't do it, and it's because of the mastery challenges." So it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you end up sort of in the same boat, to be honest. But it's a shame. I did want to get 100% on this, just it wasn't in the cards, and that's unfortunate. But overall, good game, fun game. I am glad I played it. I just wish it was a little bit shorter and I could have spent a little less than 138 hours on it, which is a lot of time. But anyway, let me know what you think about the game in the comments. Let me know what you think about the trophies. Did you stop before the mastery challenges? Did you get 100%? Did you think the mastery challenges were easy? I don't know how many people there will be like that in the comments, but if that's your situation, I'd love to hear it. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll be back with more. Like I said, let me know what you think about the game and about the trophy set in the comments. See ya.